Hey guys, what's up? It's not the morning no more. I already drank my coffee, but I got plans for later on tonight, so got energy, fuel, stuff. Yeah, I do drink a lot of caffeine. All right, so it's gonna be a quickie. Gonna have a quickie with you guys here. So when it comes to using images for videos, right? You take a picture or maybe get like a stock image from the internet or something like that. Usually having like the right size to fit your image or to crop it however you want in the corner of your video or whatever. You're gonna have to do some scaling, right? That's usually how it goes, right? So for this tutorial, I got 3 examples here. I got this tiny little picture here in the center, which is like a smiley face. Got this guy here, it's all happy and shit, giving you the finger. And I got this one, which is a 8K image, right? Now, when you're starting out, pretty much the first thing that you think of doing is, you select the image, you go to your effects control, then you go to scale, then you manually drag it to stretch it out. Do that shit, and then there's nothing wrong with that, but I discovered an easier way that could save you a lot of time, right? Usually in Premiere Pro, say if you right click on the image, when you right click you get this menu, and then you have 2 options here: scale to frame size or set to frame size, right? The main difference is basically one will stretch out the image without using the numerical value to scale up or scale down. And the other one, it does scale up or scale down, but it does adjust the numerical value of the scale values, right? Now, for example, I click on this small image, the tiny one, and the scale value here is at 100, right? So if I right click on it and I go to set to frame size, as you can see here, it did increase it, but it increased the scale value to 960, right? Let me undo that. If I right click on the same image, then in the menu here, I go to scale to frame size. As you can see, it stretched out the image to fit the comp of our footage here, but the scale value, it remained at 100, right? For the most part, this is how I work. I prefer to have the image increase to fit the footage, but I leave the numerical value of the scale to a 100 numerical value, right? Either way it works, but for the most part, I rather prefer that to leave the scale value at 100. So that being said, now instead of right clicking and select the scale to frame size, I actually have it set to a shortcut on F on my keyboard, right? So I can just click it, I hit F, and there you go, it's done, right? Now same thing with this guy here, our medium-sized image, same thing, I hit F, it increases it. And in this case, this is our 8K image. I'm gonna hit F as well, or right click, scale to frame size, and boom, it shrinks us down to fit more into our 4K composition, right? By leaving the scale value at 100. Now, here's where things gets a little interesting. Now, there's 2 things. We usually add kind of a little bit of a scale, right? From 100 up to say 105 or whatever, right? Just to keep some movement going in the image, right? That way it's not just a static image, right? Say if I go here, I go to scale, make a keyframe, then I can go at the end of our image here, right? Select that, and on our scale here, just for the sake of this tutorial, I'm gonna make it 120, just so we can see it. So you can see there's a scale, right? Usually when we show an image, instead of leaving it static, we actually add a little bit of a scale. It just it looks like it's moving, right? Just something we do because it looks more professional, whatever. But so that's one way to do it. However, I discovered a way that's a lot easier for me, right? In the effects, you wanna look up something called transform. It's gonna be underneath the effects submenu in the distort folder, and here it is, transform. Let me just do this. You go to video effects, go to distort, and here's transform. You click on that, right? Now, this is where you start to get some fun. And this is where, making presets can save you a lot of time, right? Now, to begin with, say if we want to do the same thing what we just did, well, we're going to have a scale here, right? So instead of me doing the keyframes and all that, I'll use the transform filter. I'll drag it over here. I'm going to click a keyframe here at the beginning of our a little image clip here and go to the end of it. And I'm going to set the value to 120, right? Hit enter. So now, you got that thing going. Now, when you have your value selected, right, you can actually create this into a preset. That way in the future, instead of you creating more keyframes to do that scale up stuff, you can actually do a right click on your transform filter, do save preset. I'm going to do scale up preset, just something simple, right? Gonna hit OK. So on the top of your filters here, you have this folder that says presets with a star. any presets that you create will be right here, right? So this is the one we just created. Usually what I do is I create a new folder and I name it most used transitions. So transitions that I use the most or any presets that I create, I put it in that folder. That way I don't have to like, be typing it up and all that stuff. I just save it there. That way I could just click and drag, be easier, right? So I'm going to move my preset that I just created down to this folder where I have all my filters and presets that I use constantly. So we're going to go to our 4K image. Remember, I used my shortcut here to shrink it from 8K down to 4K, or you can right click and select scale to frame size. Both work, but having a shortcut works faster, obviously. Select it. We can grab our scale preset that we created using the transform distortion filter, click and drag, and now check this out. That's pretty cool, right? Now, the cool thing about this filter is this. Say we got this guy here. I can stretch that up. I'm going to duplicate this guy as well. And I can make this a bit longer, right? So I select this guy. I'm going to drop in our transform tool, our transform filter again. That's, preset from like 100 to 120 scale. And I'm going to select this one as well. And I'm going to drop this one here as well. Now, the cool thing is, as you can see, pretty much instead of us adding the keyframes manually to where we want it, it actually goes towards the end of the clip, right? It kind of like already adjusts itself automatically. So you don't have to do none of that shit yourself. So in this clip, boom, it goes to 100 to 120, to whatever value you want. Same thing with this guy. It's a little longer clip, so it's taking a long time. But as you can see here, pretty much like the two keyframes, they're at the end of the clip, right? So that way, when you do that scale up shit to look more professional or whatever, it's already there for you. Another thing is that let's say you drag in an image, it's really large, right? So then you do your right click, scale to frame size, boom. It's still too large. You want it smaller because you want that image to be in a corner. Say it's a chart with some values you want to show or something, right? So instead of doing go to scale, 50. Instead of doing that, you can do the same thing but using the transform like a filter, right? So let me set this back to 100. We're gonna grab our transform filter again, and in this case, let's go to the scale here. Let's put number, say 25, right? So now we have like a smaller image that you can click and move to wherever you want, right? Now the cool thing is I can put this to 50 just so we can be more visual. Gonna hit transform. I'm gonna right click, save preset. So name this preset, I don't know, 50% scale value. Here's our presets. Again, just as I have it, I'm gonna drop this down to my folder where I use the filters on a regular basis. And it's right here. So my image is too large. I want to reduce down to 50%. So instead of clicking on the scale here, then punching in the numbers, I can just hit my transform tool, click and drag, boom, it's there, right? So now pretty much, you can just push this to wherever you want and do whatever. The cool thing too is that you can combine these filters, right? So say if you have a transform filter here that you set to a 50% to reduce the image. If we want to do like a slow scale up, just click on our scale up preset. And there you go. Now it's getting off to the side here for some reason, and it's something I'll let you guys figure it out. Fuck it. Right. So now I'm using images that I don't usually use, so I'm not too worried about it, right? And also I'm using values that are too high, from the preset that I used to show you. I went from 100 to 120. I don't usually use that values. If anything, I want a slow scale up, it'd be say 100 to 105 or 110, depending the length of the clip and say the timeline, right? So this is pretty much just something to help you save some time or help saves me time, right? That way, instead of me punching the numbers and adding the keyframes and all that stuff, save a preset, click and drag, boom, it's done, right? And everything's there ready to go, right? So just something that helps save some time, right? So yeah, I recently learned this and I just made a video before I forget, to share it with you guys. So all right, that's it. Bye.